talking, right? Okay. My name is Eunice, and I have a company called Tea Insanity. That is not tea insanity, it's tea and sanity. Okay? Everybody goes, oh, it's such a cute name, but there's a reason for it. I'll get started by saying, no, I don't sell marijuana, which is the first thing everyone asks me when you come into where I am, and there are just like hundreds and hundreds of bottles of herbs, and everybody goes, grow pot. First thing. I'll start out by telling you a little background. It's a little awkward because there has to be at least a half a dozen people in this room that know so much more than I do, and I ended up learning. Okay, I'm fairly new. I started about 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, and in the realm of herbs, that's real young. That's very, very young. Each herb has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of properties, and you have to learn them, and if you're a true herbalist, you memorize them, and you know all this when people ask you, and people come and go, what does this do? And I go, I don't know. Because I have to go to my database, and I have to look it up, because I don't trust my own memory, nor do I want to trust my own memory when somebody asks me something that's as serious as herbs. I have been compiling for several years now a database where everything I read, I cross-reference, which is, believe it or not, you can't find in any herb books, and I have dozens and dozens of herb books. You want to find something for arthritis, you look up arthritis, it doesn't say, well, these are the herbs that you can use. It tells you one herb or one item or one thing you can do. So I'm trying to compile that and make myself a dictionary, which is now just hundreds and hundreds of pages. So when somebody asks me, I say, I'll get back to you. And I do. Okay, that's what I do. I got started in this because I had a doctor who I think just pretty much tried to kill my daughter. I have 3 kids, and the middle one was a varsity softball player. Very, very healthy, had never been ill. And she had what I thought was an allergy problem. A lot of coughing up phlegm balls and a lot of not feeling well. And she would go and they would put her on antibiotics and she would feel better and then she would get sick again, and it was just a cycle. So we went to a doctor and he put her on some drug, and you trust them. You trust them because they're doctors and you're supposed to know. And when you're real ignorant like I was, you trust them. And she would get a little better, then a little worse, and we would take her back, and he would say, well, let's just try this. And he would put her on something else, and then she would do better, and then she would do worse, and it just was a cycle. And in a matter of 4 months, she was bedridden. She missed her first semester of college, and was talking about killing herself, because she said, I can't live like this. I can't live like this. She had always been really, really, really healthy, and she just said, I can't do this, So then we were like, panic-stricken, and took her to a therapist, and put her on this, and antidepressants, and And finally, we went into the doctor again, and I said, look, this really, really has to be an allergy problem. You can say, I really think it's an allergy problem. He said, let me just try one more thing. Well, the one last thing, she threw up for 8 days and lost another 20 pounds. And then I said, I'm done. So I got some advice, and of all things, I had someone say, you need to go and see this guy. And he was a chiropractor up on Kendall Drive. And I took her in there because I just didn't know what else to do. We had a family of real healthy kids, eat healthy, do healthy things, all athletic, and we just didn't know what to do. And we went in and just in a panic, and he just looked at her and said, all this stuff is just throw in the garbage can. All these drugs, you're not taking that, you're not taking this, you're not taking that. And basically, to make a very long story short, what she now has is what I think is probably a fairly good form of candida, which is just from being over-drugged to death on antibiotics, which I consider to be one of the most dangerous things that you can give to any child or any adult. What happens to her is that you take antibiotics, and along with, which everybody pretty much knows now, along with the really good things, all the bad things in your stomach, the antibiotics destroy all the really good bacteria in your stomach. So you feel better for a while, and then you immediately get things like yeast infections and just all kinds of things, and then you get a little better, then you get a little worse, then you go back, and 3 months later you want antibiotics again, and it starts the whole cycle all over again. Candida is now one of the most amazingly, it's just everywhere. When I do one of the little shows at the park, the amount of kids who come up to me and say, I have candida, can you help me? Okay? And there's really not a huge amount that you can do besides change their lifestyle, and change what they're eating, and change what they're drinking, and try to put good things in their body. But that's how I got started. I got a book on herbal medicine, and it turned out to be just an amazing book with an amazing man. And then I just got another book, and I got another book, and another book, and I just got started. And once you start reading about herbs, you can't stop. You just lose your mind. I mean, you know, you're just like, oh my God, that's so cool. I can do that. Oh my God, look what I got. And you just go nuts. You go nuts. And along with that, what happens is you find out that there are just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of herbs, and they all have dozens and dozens and dozens of things that they do. And then you have to try to learn how to combine those to make sense, because you can't put 45,000 things in, you know, in a tea. And you know, what I ended up doing was becoming so involved in herbs that I started really getting involved in tea. And I have never grown tea. Don't like it, never did. And now I'm addicted, like a lot of people I know. And I learned that it was the best way to put really good things in your body in a nice, slow, steady way every day without overdosing on anything. And in time, creating a healthy body. And that's just real simple. And that's what I do. And then I met somebody who said, well, you really got to go see this guy. He doesn't need stuff. And a couple of days later, somebody else said the same guy. And about a week later, somebody else said, this guy. And it turned out to be Miguel. That guy. It was amazing. I just kept running into these people who said, well, this guy's really, you know. And I went to his classes, and I got really interested in the oils, the essential oils. So that got combined into the business that I was doing. So along with, I had decided at this point in time to really start a business doing this, because people kept coming saying, can you have this, and can you fix this, and can you do that? And I thought there was a need for that, and I didn't see it anywhere. Now I'm starting to see it everywhere. I mean, every paper you pick up, it's herbs and essential oils, and oh my God, the crest has essential oil. It's amazing. So I think, you know, it's catching on, which is a wonderful thing. But I started taking his classes, and then I started incorporating some other products. Right now I have about 100 different products online, finally online. And some of them are, in order to get a business going, you have to have some things. So I love making soaps, so I'm making all my own soaps. I do have a small section of soaps that I do not make, that I buy. When I buy something from a company, I investigate the company thoroughly to make sure that it follows the guidelines that I approve of, which also are the herbs, same thing. So I do have some products, some essential oil products and essential oils, and I have soaps, and I have a muscle salve ointment that just kills all pain and is wonderful. It's a fabulous thing. And while you're creating these things, it's a neat thing you're learning. And I do them all myself. I grind all my own herbs. I do all my own products myself, other than a few soaps. But my main focus, as much as I love the oils, it will always be the herbs and the teas. And I just go back to that. So what I started doing is people kept coming to me and saying, but I can't sleep at night, and I get headaches all the time, and I've got some arthritis. Well, I got a tea for headaches, and I got this great tea for arthritis, and I have a wonderful tea for insomnia, but you just can't drink 25 different kinds of teas, and we all seem to be having at least 4 or 5 things wrong with us. I know I have at least 5 things all the time that I battle, and as you get older, it seems to be more. So what I started doing was making custom tea. I started researching teas that I could combine to address more than one problem. Okay? So if you have insomnia and arthritis, I got a tea for you. Okay? I don't, however, have that online. I have to make it from scratch. I have to investigate and do that.